Every dream I have is someone else's regret. Have you ever woken up from a dream and felt guilty? Not confused, not scared, guilty. Like you did something wrong, like you ruined something that mattered, like someone out there just lost everything, and somehow you were involved. Because that's how it started for me. At first, I thought it was just vivid dreaming. Some people have that. Hyper-real imagination, intense REM cycles, maybe stress, maybe too much caffeine before bed. But then I started noticing something I couldn't ignore. Every dream I had felt like a memory. Not mine, someone else's. And the worst part? In every single one, something had already gone terribly wrong. Let me explain. The first one I remember clearly was about a house fire. I was standing in a kitchen, small, yellow tiles, the kind from the early 2000s. A pot was boiling over, smoke rising. I could smell gas, and I just knew. I had forgotten to turn the stove off. There was a child in the next room, a little boy, maybe 5. He was laughing, and I was thinking about something else. Then the explosion happened. I didn't feel the flames. I didn't feel pain. But I felt something worse. Regret. Not panic. Not fear. Regret. The kind that hits your stomach and freezes your lungs. The kind that says you had one job, one moment, and you failed. Then I woke up, heart racing, sheets soaked in sweat, and I couldn't shake the feeling that somewhere, a real kitchen had exploded. Somewhere, a real child had stopped laughing, and someone was living with that regret. It didn't stop. The next dream was different. I was older, a man in his late 40s, sitting in a parked car outside a hospital. My hands were on the steering wheel, trembling. Inside the hospital, someone was waiting for me. I knew who it was, my wife, but in the dream, she wasn't mine. I just knew she was someone who depended on me. I had chosen work over her appointment. Again, she had begged me to come, said she was scared, said she didn't want to hear the results alone, and I told her I was too busy. In the dream, I sat in that parking lot long after visiting hours ended, too ashamed to walk in, too proud to admit I'd messed up. Then I checked my phone. 3 missed calls, 1 voicemail, the doctor's voice. I'm sorry. And that same crushing wave of regret hit me. Then I woke up, and I couldn't breathe. Here's where it gets strange. A week later, I was scrolling online. News headline. Local woman dies after late-stage diagnosis. Husband reportedly missed final appointment. The article mentioned he arrived hours later, sat in the parking lot, didn't go in. I froze, because I knew that parking lot. I knew the crack in the dashboard. I knew the faded air freshener hanging from the mirror. I had been there, except I hadn't. I don't know these people. I've never been married. I've never lived in that city. But my dream matched details that were never publicly shared. And that's when the thought first entered my mind. What if I'm not dreaming? What if I'm inheriting something? After that, it escalated. The dreams started coming every night. Different lives, different bodies, different moments, but always the same theme. A single mistake, a single choice, a single moment where someone should have acted differently. And the dream always ended at the exact second regret became permanent. Not when the mistake happened, when it became irreversible. One night, I was a teenage girl texting while driving. Rain hitting the windshield, music too loud. A message pops up from someone named Mom. I glance down, just for a second. The headlights appear too late. the impact never comes. Instead, time slows, and I feel it again, that terrible stomach-dropping realization. I shouldn't have looked. Then darkness. Then I wake up. 2 days later, I see it again. Different state. Teen driver killed in rainstorm. Phone found open. Last message from mother. I stopped sleeping properly after that. Because here's what terrified me. The dreams weren't random. They were chronological. The news stories always appeared after the dreams. Not before. Like I was seeing something before it happened. But not the accident itself. The regret. The moment when the soul understands it's too late. And that's when I started asking the question I was too afraid to think about before. If I'm dreaming their regrets before they happen, does that mean I'm connected to what's coming? Or worse, am I supposed to stop it? I tried an experiment. I wrote down every detail I could remember from a dream. One night I dreamed I was a man arguing with his younger brother in a garage. Something about money, pride, old resentment. The brother storms out, gets into a truck, drives off angry. In the dream, I stood there stubbornly, refusing to apologize. And I just knew, that if I called him back right now, things could change. But I didn't, and in that moment of refusal, I felt the regret before the crash even happened. I woke up immediately and wrote everything down. Next morning, I searched local accident reports. Nothing. I waited. 3 days later, 2-vehicle collision. Driver lost control after leaving family dispute. Location. Same small town I saw in the dream. Garage, owned by a family-run auto shop. Argument confirmed by neighbors. I didn't know these people. I swear to you, I didn't. But I had stood in that garage before it happened. That's when the dreams changed. They became clearer, longer, more detailed, and something new started happening. Sometimes, they could see me. At first it was subtle, a reflection in a window, a flicker in a mirror, a shadow that didn't belong to the person whose body I was in. Then one night, in the middle of a dream, the person turned toward a mirror, and instead of their face, it was mine. And they whispered, "Why didn't you warn me?" I woke up screaming. You have to understand something. These dreams don't feel symbolic. They don't feel like metaphors. They feel procedural, specific, concrete. The texture of the steering wheel, the smell of gasoline, the exact brand of coffee cup on a hospital counter. They feel lived in, borrowed, and every time I wake up, I feel like I just left a crime scene, except the crime hasn't happened yet. I tried to intervene once, just once. I dreamed I was a college student at a party, drunk, upset, climbing onto a balcony railing to prove something stupid. In the dream, I knew what would happen. I felt the regret before the fall, and when I woke up, I searched for campus events matching what I saw. I found one. Same date, same decorations, same band playing. So I did something insane. I emailed the event organizer anonymously. Watch the balcony, someone is going to fall. They thought it was a prank, but they added extra security just in case. The night passed. No incidents. For the first time. No matching news report. I thought I had broken the pattern. I thought maybe that's why I was seeing these things. To prevent them. To absorb the regret before it becomes real. But that night, I dreamed again. And it was different. This time I wasn't in someone else's body. I was in a dark room, alone, facing something I couldn't see clearly. And a voice said, "You interfered." It didn't sound angry, it sounded disappointed. Then images flooded my mind. Different tragedies, different timelines. Somewhere else, another accident had happened, one I hadn't seen. Like the regret had to exist somewhere, balanced, maintained, as if I wasn't meant to stop them, only witness them, only carry them. That's when the weight started building. Because when you wake up from regret every night, you start to feel responsible for things you never did. I began apologizing to strangers, silently, on buses, in grocery stores, looking at people and wondering, are you next? And here's the worst part. The dreams are getting closer. They used to be in other states, other countries. Now they're in my city. Last week, I dreamed I was standing on a bridge at sunset, phone in my hand, reading a message I sent in anger. One sentence, just one. But it was enough to push someone away permanently. In the dream, I watched them walk off, watched them disappear into traffic, and I knew I would never see them again. Not because they died, but because I had broken something that couldn't be repaired. I woke up and checked my phone, and I had sent a message the night before, in anger. Same words, same sentence. I don't know what this means. I don't know if I'm seeing the future, or parallel lives, or absorbing something supernatural. But here's what scares me most. The dreams are starting to loop. I've had the same one 3 times now, and each time it gets clearer. I'm in a small apartment. It's mine, but older. Dust in the corners, unpaid bills on the table, and I'm sitting alone, watching the news. There's a headline about a man who claimed he could see tragedies before they happened. He tried to warn people. No one believed him. Eventually, he stopped trying. And one night, he did something irreversible. The camera shows his face, and it's me. Older, tired, broken. And as the dream ends, I feel it. That final regret, the kind you can't wake up from. I don't know how much time I have, because the dreams are becoming personal. They're no longer about strangers. When I look in the mirror before bed, I feel like someone else is watching from the other side, waiting for me to fall asleep, waiting for their turn, because maybe that's what this really is. Maybe I'm not seeing their regrets. Maybe they're using me to process them. Maybe regret needs somewhere to go, and I'm the container. If that's true, then what happens when it's full? Tell me something. If you knew, truly knew, that one decision tomorrow would haunt you forever, would you change it? Or would you convince yourself it won't happen to you? Because that's what every single person in my dreams believed. It won't be me. It's just one moment. It's not that serious. Until it was. And I'm starting to wonder if the next regret I feel will finally be my own.